Hi, I'm Patrick Dillon. I'm the CEO of Wise Digital Partners, and I'm sitting down today with my Director of Paid Media, Dan Fitzgerald. Dan's team sets up and manages all of the advertising campaigns for all of our clients. That's on platforms like Google and Facebook. And what I wanted to do is sit down today and talk about PPC. So, Dan, what would you tell somebody, a business owner who's just looking to get into PPC for the first time? What kind of things is there to know?
Thanks, Pat. So PPC, pay-per-click, or paid search ads as we call it, really can have a measurable and profitable impact on pretty much most businesses if they're managed properly. After all, almost 90% of all customer journeys begin with an online search engine like Google. Here's a key takeaway. Alphabet, for example, Google's parent company, is the fifth largest company in the world. 97% of their revenue comes from advertising, and the lion's share is from PPC. Think about that. As professional digital marketing managers, we know that means that the competition for ads is fierce. And if you've never managed PPC before, you can certainly anticipate an expensive and uncertain learning period. Also, depending upon your specific industry, you may not only be looking at your local competition, but also national brands competing for that top position in the ad space. Some examples that we've seen are specific to the insurance industry, the mortgage industry, the wealth planning industry. The biggest local and national competitors are usually willing to spend more to earn those top placements because they've already figured out the numbers and the profitability of those platforms. So if you don't have experience within the ad auctions, you can expect that you'll typically be looking at higher CPCs or cost per clicks, and also potentially lower conversions, which creates lower conversion rates. Once you're up and running, Google will serve you with insights or data on who you're playing against in those ad auctions. And over time, you'll get a better idea of how you're performing against that learned competition.
Okay, Dan, so we know this discipline in the agency is extremely data driven. So, when you're thinking about setting up and managing a campaign on Google, or frankly, any PPC environment, what data points are you looking at and measuring?
Yeah, it's a good question. You bet. I'm sure you've heard all the high-level KPIs like the number of impressions, clicks, click-through rate, conversions, cost per lead, or cost per acquisition. And those are certainly very important. But I think it's even more important to establish a hierarchy of the value on the data that you're actually measuring. Most, if not all, of the data is going to be somewhat relevant and useful, but knowing which metrics move the needle on particular ad variables is where you can really make a big impact. A PPC account with multiple campaigns and ad groups targeting a number of different keyword segments is going to bring in a lot of quantitative information. And that can be overwhelming. It could also potentially have an adverse effect if the strategy adjustments you're making don't align with the combination of historical and consistent data analysis. You see, most of what drives those higher level metrics is a culmination of what's occurring regularly on a more macro level. And usually within multiple ad groupings using a number of keyword targets and tactics. Data points like top impression percentage and absolute top impression percentage can really give you good info on how to make changes to your daily budget allocations. Another long-standing performance indicator is quality score, which Google grades on 3 separate components: expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. Just to give you kind of a brief explanation on what those components actually are. Expected click-through rate. So Google algorithms do track your account's performance, obviously, and then ultimately they make the determination on your potential ad placements based on past keyword performance and how relevant your ads have been for similar search queries. Ad relevance is basically how well your keywords match the message in your ads. And then landing page experience is just that. Does the page load quickly? Is it optimized for delivery? Is your page relevant to the ad you're serving? And is it easy for the user to navigate through? Quality score determines your ad rank and is highly indicative as to whether your ads and landing pages are more relevant and useful to someone searching for your keyword compared to, say, other advertisers. The more consistent you can be with higher quality scores, the better situated you are for a higher ROI. And that's because higher quality scores correlate with a lower cost per lead. And finally, conversion rate. Conversion rate is a measurement of how many website visitors or prospects actually turn into paying customers or leads. And let's face it, that's what's most important here. It is one of the most important data points to analyze and basically tells you whether your ad campaigns are performing efficiently or not. Conversion rate is calculated by taking the total number of verifiable conversion actions, so phone calls, web form submissions, contact emails, whatever you have predetermined is a desired outcome as a result of your PPC ads. That's what a conversion is. And then dividing that by the total number of actual interactions, or in this case, clicks. Now, you may ask, what is a good conversion rate? Well, using industry benchmarks as an average, we'd say anything above 10% is typically a good conversion rate, but that is certainly going to vary across the multiple different business verticals.
So Dan, that was a lot of great detail, but I feel like that can be a little overwhelming for the average business owner that's looking at getting into PPC for their first time. So what are some high-level thoughts, for that type of business owner that really this is their first experience with PPC? What are the things to know?
Well, Pat, I think that's going to be subjective from one business to another. But what I will say is paid media with regards to economies of scale is more competitive and in some cases more complex than ever. And products and services perform differently from one platform to another. Google Ads, for example, has been around for over 20 years now. And over time, they've certainly added features and capabilities which make that platform more robust from an automation and reporting standpoint. But just like anything else, the more puzzle pieces there are, the more time and patience is required to reach success. What I tell most of our client partners is that paid media is a calculated risk. But those calculations become less obtuse over time as you accumulate that objective and demand side data. And then know how to adjust your strategies based on your incremental results. You're best served by constantly monitoring and adjusting campaign tactics as you accumulate more data. If you are busy running a business or are not savvy in these platforms, it's best to partner with someone who has not only had a solid foundation of the platform fundamentals, but a firm understanding on how to interpret the gradual data fluctuations and can adjust accordingly. Preferably someone who's encountered both past successes and failures. PPC will not guarantee sales or leads, just like traditional advertising. Nor will it guarantee the sales or leads that you do get will even be profitable. What PPC will do is target potential customers when they are actively engaged. Its purpose is to put your business in the best position for when those purchase intent customers are searching in real time online for your products and services.
Thanks, Dan. I think that was really helpful. It was nice to hear some of the detail, but also some of the high level around what PPC really can do for a business. I think a partner like Wise Digital, the thing that we do really well compared to most agencies is we really try to take the mystery out of how these programs are set up, how they're run, how they're managed, and how they become profitable for your business. Please reach out to us if you'd like help or you'd like to just talk about what PPC can do for your business.